I don't know about you guys, but I've been up since 8 a.m. this morning, and that might not sound bad, but as someone who never goes to bed before at least 1 a.m., you know, on a good night, I'm feeling omnipresent tonight in this Ocarina of Time playthrough. Well, hang on. Hey, wait a minute. Why did I not spawn at Link's house for the millionth time? Well, that's because whenever you save in a dungeon and you quit and restart the game, you'll start back at the beginning of whatever dungeon you're in. But we didn't get a name for this dungeon. Now, why would that be? Well, that's because we haven't properly opened up the dungeon. But of course, one bomb later, and here we are, Dodongo's Cavern. Now this is certainly an upgrade. We went from a dungeon where we went inside a living giant tree deity thing, into a dungeon that proudly presents a dinosaur skull right in the center room. Shit's getting real up in Ocarina of Time, starring Link and Navi, who likes to interrupt the plot. Alright, well, the fun thing about dungeons is that not a lot actually goes on in them. It's mostly just like, you know, puzzle solving, combat, which gives me a lot of opportunities to just talk. But first, we've got a Beamos here. A lot of newcomers seem to have trouble with Beamos. They're no problem. Just hold your shield. You will never get hurt, as long as you know, Z-target and shield them. And if you throw a Deku Nut at them, it stuns them and they'll stop shooting for a while. Look at this. Ugh. Oh. On God. Maybe we can shoot them with the slingshot? Let's try. Oh yeah, look at that. You can get them with the slingshot too. See? They gave you plenty of ways to take care of them. And you know, sure you can't defeat them at the moment, but you know, you can go around them, you can stun them with slingshot or something. They're really no problem. Don't worry too much about it. And just to show it off, just throw a bomb at them, and they're gone. Really? Not too big of a deal. Like, I get kinda here, because sometimes using the bomb and having to jump over this platform at the right time to get over there and throw it at them, it's a bit tricky, admittedly, but it's... Beamos aren't anything too bad. Oh, hello. No. You. Now, a Deku Shield for 50 rupees might seem like a ripoff, especially because the one we got was like 40 rupees. But it's a little more handy than you'd think, because, as you can imagine, with the lava here, it's not the fire dungeon of the game, but it's still like, you know, a fire dungeon. Eh. And if you get lit on fire, not if you go down there, I believe. I think this is just like damaging turf. But say if a fire enemy were to touch you and you lit on fire, that would burn up your Deku Shield, and it would be just gone. Out. So having a small area in this dungeon where you can actually buy another Deku Shield is kind of nice, even if it's a little overpriced. You're paying for convenience, I guess. Like, a bottle of water shouldn't be $3, but it's like, where else are you gonna get water if you're at like a baseball stadium? The drinking fountain, that's where. So just bring your own fucking bottle. Look, a cute little lizard baby. Baby Dodongo. Aw, it's adorable. Watch out for its leap attack. It will explode after it's defeated? What do you mean? What do you mean explode? Oh. I guess they explode. And they drop their heart. That's kind of metal. Explosion. Why did I forget about the explosion? So yeah, the Link's Awakening remake came out, and I've been playing a fair bit of it. Like, I haven't beaten it yet. I'm still only, like, at the key dungeon, dungeon number 3. But, you know, I've been enjoying my time. By which I mean the one session I had with it, because I've kind of been busy otherwise. But, you know what? I've taken some time to play it, and I've gotten a good feel of what the remake is. And, yeah, let's talk about it. So, gameplay-wise, I think the remake is fantastic, for the most part. Because it does a lot of things that were kind of shaky about the original Link's Awakening. Like, instead of the 3 warp points that you always gotta cycle through, they give you like 10 or something. That's nuts to me. That's so good. I love it. Lizards. Look at that bitch over there taunting me. He ain't ready. Oh, wow. Wow, you can hit them with the slingshot, huh? Oh, this is a fun playthrough. Bye. Say bye. Ah! Two Deku sticks, and they gone. They gone. You're next. Easy. No, but really, why is a stick stronger than a sword? I don't... Why? So, yeah, there's the warp points. Another big thing, stuff like the power bracelet and the Pegasus boots, stuff like that, is just regularly equipped to you and is mapped to another button, instead of having to keep swapping it out for items, which also you do less, which thank goodness, because that was one of the worst things about Link's Awakening. I love Link's Awakening, but that was... being on a Game Boy definitely had its issues. Speaking of Link's Awakening, there were Dodongos in that game. These are Dodongos. Excuse me, don't ignore me. How you doing? Fool. Why would you do that? Oh. And then watch out for tailspin. Watch out for when they spin their tails, because it will hurt. And they also explode after death. Why? I don't know. Maybe because in the original Zelda, you had to kill them by feeding them bombs, which you do not have to do in this game. You can just hit their tails. I keep forgetting about that tail wag. Move, fool! And my Deku Shield's gone. Awesome. Yeah, the Z target isn't great here, because it doesn't target exactly where you can hit. So if you go for like a jump slash or somewhere, kind of just goes for the general area, and there's a chance you will hit the part of the Dodongo that doesn't hit. Kind of frustrating. And my shield's gone because of it. So I'm feeling good. And now I got this piece of shit. Oh boy. And the puzzle of this room is light up torches with a stick. A very difficult brain teaser. But going back to Link's Awakening, yeah, gameplay-wise, I like almost everything they've done. A lot of conveniences that made the original Link's Awakening feel pretty archaic, and even doing some things they didn't really have to do, like change up some of the minigames, like the fishing minigame and the crane minigame. They changed how those work a bit. One's been, the fishing minigame got deeper, and the crane minigame got physics. Oh, that's right, these are timed. And some people don't really like how the physics work. I'm fine with them, because I like crane games, and also the crane game in Link's Awakening was never a problem. It was just sort of busy work in order to get some more money that I didn't really have to work for. So I'm glad they kind of made it different, and also that they gave you an option to get 50 rupees instead, because man, does that speed up the money-making process. So, yeah, I like a lot of what they've done. One thing I do have a problem with, though, is the control, because for some reason you move in 8 directions. I'm not sure why they did this. Okay, well, I know why they did this. It's because they're still using, you know, the original designs and layouts of Link's Awakening, so it's still in sort of that grid-like structure, and the 8-directional movement is to help you move around better. The thing is, you know, the original Link's Awakening felt kind of free-moving. Like, it didn't feel like you went necessarily only in 8 directions, you know? I guess it looked a little more smooth than it does now, because now you kind of snap to the direction, whereas before you only faced 4 directions, but it kind of, like, you know, rotated sort of differently. I don't know, it's a little hard to explain, but I feel like you could have had the full 360 control, and it wouldn't really have been a problem. But my solution to this, and it's kind of another problem with the game, is that they could have just used the D-pad. Another problem with the game is they don't use the D-pad for anything. They could have used it for maybe an item quick select, or give you an optional 8-directional movement playstyle, sort of like what Pokemon X and Y did, where you can move in the 8 directions with the D-pad and then full range with the control stick. But they don't do that. They don't do anything with the D-pad, and it just feels weird. It's like you may as well, you know, do something with it. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to just map some controls. Oh look, it's actually working! Alright, you know what, I'm gonna take back what I said about the Hyrule Shield, the Hylian Shield sucking as Young Link, because this thing is fucking magic! Apparently. But yeah, aside from that control gripe I have with the remake, and even that it's sort of a small thing, but something I I have to notice because it just kind of bugs me. I think gameplay-wise, the remake is basically perfect. Very solid, like 95%. Very good. But, okay, well, I don't necessarily... I mean, I won't say there's anything deal-breaking with the Link's Awakening remake, with other aspects of it, but there are things that still bug me. I think the biggest thing for me myself is the soundtrack, and that's something I kind of worried about since the start, since it was announced, because I was not a fan of the song that originally played with that announcement trailer, although it was kind of winning me over with the second trailer, because there were some nice renditions of the songs. And then the game finally came out, and it's kind of a mixed bag for me. Like, some songs, I think they transitioned to a higher quality soundtrack perfectly. Like, a lot of the cave themes or dungeon themes, very well done. Very well done. I really like them. But there are some choices I just do not understand. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of not a fan of the Mabe Village theme and how they did that. The main village theme, I'm not a big fan of how they did that, because it's kind of... I don't like the sort of, it's not a harpsichord, it's like some sort of, like, dainty piano sort of thing. Not piano, but, like, harpsichord. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the instrument they chose. At that point in the song, at least, because it starts off very small and quaint, which is fine, because, you know, it kind of fits the village, but I mean, I don't know, it kind of feels a little grating. And the song does eventually get good, but by the time it gets good, it's only, you know, like, half the song has happened. Or, like, by the time I'm like, alright, now, okay, now this is good, it kind of loses that. Wait, but aren't you... that's right, that means a statue. Okay. Son of a bitch. No, no! Hit him, Link! Thank you. Fuck you looking at. So yeah, I'm not 100% with the soundtrack. It's still good. It's just, I would have done things differently, but hey, music's subjective, whatever. Like, you know, it's still a good soundtrack. But, again, I still kind of think that with some of the visuals, but I think the visual... They did a lot better with the visuals than they did with the soundtrack. I don't know. I'm going to get this guy with one shot. Oh, nice. Another aspect of the remake I wasn't a big fan of was that it was $60, which I don't understand at all. Oh, wait, hang on a second. I think we can do a skip right here. Just line myself up properly. Alright, well, that was wrong. No, I'm pretty sure I can get this, right? Just like... I shouldn't have swung my sword, so I think I can just, you know, angle myself right, and then... Alright, well, you know what? I'll give Navi credit this time, because I probably would have ran right into that spike if she didn't stop me with that dialogue. So thanks for that, Navi, I think. $60 for the remake, though, feels a bit much. Because the original game, you know, it was a Game Boy game. It cost like $40 at release. Maybe even $30 back then. I don't quite remember, but, you know, it didn't cost a lot. It wasn't like a full-price AAA game. And this remake is still the same game, with a lot of quality of life and visual improvements, yes, but you're still mostly getting the same game. Like, it's still a Game Boy game, at its heart. Son of a bitch, this... And yet, it's $60 new. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's very good. And on top of that, I'm already buying an amiibo, because the Link's Awakening amiibo is super adorable, and I love it. So it's like I'm spending $80 on this game. Well, not really 80. I guess 80 with tax, with the amiibo. But it's like, you don't need to buy the amiibo. You probably don't need to, but it's like, I was going to. I was a little more excited for the amiibo than I was with the remake, if I'm going to be honest. It's just such a cute amiibo, though. I mean, look at it. Look at it. It's adorable.